All right, people. So I just want to say and talk about here Megyn Kelly. So she did an interview with Alex Jones here on her new TV show, and she was caught saying in a tape that Alex smartly recorded, saying that she'd do a fair interview. It wouldn't be a hit piece. Pretty much a lie, because if you watch her interview, that was the most blatant hit job I've ever seen in my life. I mean, all she talked about was his so-called, they call them conspiracy theories. Apparently it's like a crime to ask questions. It's a death sentence now. To ask questions about known liars. I mean, we all know the government's liars. So to question the accuracy or the legitimacy of an event that happened in our country is apparently now, it makes you this terrible person. You don't care about children or whatever the fuck. So they took a lot of clips out of context. They played a lot of one sentences and asked them about it. And they even played shit that they didn't even ask them about. Like they played the Pizzagate shit, and I don't believe they asked him one question about it. They totally framed him to look like a total nut job. And anybody who believes that was a true representation of him is a complete moron. But unfortunately, we have a lot of morons in this country who are still convinced by mainstream media and will believe everything they hear out of them and won't do their own research and find the deeper truth to the matter. So yeah, she questioned him on 9/11, and she said we'd ask you about it and get your responses, but he only talked for like 5 fucking minutes out of the whole program. I mean, it was a complete disgrace of a complete slap in the face of journalism. I mean, she is a slithering snake. I mean, I cannot believe how deceptive she was, saying, "Oh, it won't be a hit piece. I can promise you that. I can promise you that." Well, yeah, I can promise you something, that was a total fucking hit piece. I mean, it was, and she put shit on there. Oh, he's on the fringe. He's a conspiracy. He spent years on the fringe and shit like that. And she didn't talk about, really any of his, anything else besides his quote conspiracy theories. Yeah, I mean, again, they claim a lot of things are quote conspiracy theories, but it's not a crime to ask questions about. Like they made a big deal out of the Sandy Hook thing. A lot of people say, oh, it's a total hoax. I could do a more in-depth video on that, but I mean, there's a lot of evidence to show that it actually did happen. I mean, I think people died there. I mean, there are questions I have about it, but to go out and to say it was a hoax is a stretch, I think. I mean, I have questions about it, but I'm not saying it's a hoax or it never happened. I know Alex said that in the past. I think he was wrong to say that, but I think he's cleared it up, that he's altered his view or changed his view on it after doing more in-depth research on it. He said, kids have probably died there, but he still had suspicions about it, like every citizen should have suspicions about their government. I mean, our government's not these great group of people. I mean, our government's, controlled by corporate interest. I mean, our government is power-hungry, sleazeball lawyers who are very corrupt. So I wouldn't put anything past our government there. It just seems like, that would be a hard thing to pull off and to fake something like that. And like I said, I could do a more people say, oh, the school was closed beforehand, but there's actually a lot of evidence to a lot of pictures inside the school and shit to show that otherwise. And a lot of their evidence, the Sandy Hook people who say it's a hoax, a lot of their evidence really falls apart if you do some research. But I mean, I thought it was a very unfair interview. She hardly gave him enough time to respond. It was like I said, like about a total of 5 minutes of Alex actually talking, and all they really talked about was his conspiracy theories. A total incomplete hit job. And Megyn Kelly said it wouldn't be a hit job, and it clearly was. It wasn't a profile on him. She didn't really ask him anything about his life or his children or anything about that. I mean, it was a total disgrace, and it made me vomit when watching that. But it also made me laugh at the same time, because once again, the mainstream media exposes themselves as being the lying scum, the lying dirtballs, the lying lowlifes that they are. They are the lowest form of scum. You know, usually when you tell somebody something, you know, you have my word, I promise you that. 99% of human beings are great people, and you know, their word is sacrosanct. Their word is infallible, and people will, you know, stick to their word. But you know, you go to the lying scum in the media, the lying lowlifes like Megyn Kelly, and they'll tell you something, and then they'll do the exact opposite. So once again, the mainstream media exposes themselves again. Well, like the sheep, like the zombie that a lot of the general public is, they will continue to eat up what the mainstream media feeds them and believe it. I call on people watching this video to wake up, open your eyes, and do some more research, and just don't believe what the mainstream media tells you. So there you go, people.